Hi, and welcome back to Basement Backgammon. In this episode, we're going to be starting a new chapter in the Robertie book. This chapter is called Flexibility. There's some text at the beginning of the chapter to describe the concept that Robertie wants to introduce, and I will read it to you before we go on to a new video where we talk about the very first problem in that chapter. So the chapter is chapter 6 and flexibility. And Robertie says, with only 15 checkers at your disposal, you need to make sure that every checker is working to its maximum to create new points and block your opponent. That means you can't just run your checkers to safety and hope to automatically throw good numbers. You have to place your checkers so that more of your future numbers will be useful. Playing this way creates a mobile, flexible position. In this chapter, we'll look at some ways to create good positions, including diversifying, which means if there's a key point to be made, make sure you create as many builders as possible bearing on that point. Often there's no cost involved in creating an extra builder, just ingenuity. Unstacking, which means huge stacks cut future flexibility, look to move off stacks. Duplication, which means give your opponent the same good number in different parts of the board rather than different good numbers. And slotting, which means put a checker on a point you need to make with the idea of covering it next turn. So we're going to be going through a series of videos to describe and illustrate the flexibility concept that Robertie is talking about. So this is just an introduction to the chapter. We'll have another video which we'll post exactly at the same time with the first problem for that flexibility chapter. We'll be back with that video in just a moment. And we're back with our video. This is problem 60, the very first problem in the flexibility chapter in Robertie's book. And in this chapter, green is being asked to play a 1-1 against yellow. Yellow's got a very strong home board. They've got 5 points made, but they do have one checker on the bar. We have a blot out on 15, and we have 2 builders to make points inside. How do we play a 1-1 in this situation? This isn't a difficult one. I think most viewers will be able to get this pretty easily, but it does illustrate the concept of flexibility, or at least one of the concepts of flexibility that Robertie was talking about at the opening of the chapter. I'll give you 10 seconds to decide how to play 1-1. If you need more time, hit the pause button. All right, and we're back. So unsurprisingly, Robertie says for 1-1, we should safety the checker with 15 to 13 and move 7 to 5 with the other 2 aces in order to make as many points, have as many builders as possible to make points inside. Let's talk about it. Black has 2 objectives. This is what Robertie's saying in his book. Black has 2 objectives. Green has 2 objectives. Safety his blot and create the maximum number of builders for the remaining points in his inner board. Safetying is easy. Green plays 15 to 13 with his first 2 aces. With the last 2, the right play is 7 to 5, which leaves green with 3 builders for each of the 2 remaining inner points. If green makes the blunder of playing 6 to 4, instead, he only has 2 active builders for each inner point. So, what are we saying here? The obvious thing that we need to do, the number one priority, is to safety that checker or bring it around, but we can't bring it around with the 1-1, so safetying makes the first 2 easy, right? We don't want, in this position, we don't want yellow to roll a 3-3, which would be devastating for us, or a 2-3, which would be equally devastating to us. Coming in on a 5-point board all the way in the back would probably lose the game. So we want to safety the checker because we've been given the gift of safety. Now, instead of playing 6-4, which some amateurs would do, leaving the checker on the outside, you want to use these 2 checkers as builders. Even though a builder technically is considered an extra checker on top of a point, in this situation where you're trying to make points and keep your man on the bar, keep your opponent on the bar, it's okay to break this point and use it as a builder inside because that leaves the minimum number of return shots. So for instance, we play a 4-3 on the next roll. Let's say your opponent dances and you play a 4-3 on the next roll. Yes, a 2-5 is a devastating roll for you. But if your opponent misses, you have a chance to cover with the 6 over here. So you also have a chance to make an additional point and close out the board altogether. So the flexibility of being able to do both things with the same roll, I think, is what Robertie's trying to say here. Let's go to what XG has to say. I am 99.9% certain XG will have the same play, but let's just check it anyway. And we're back with our XG analysis of problem 60. This problem, black is to play 1-1. And let's see what XG has to say about it. It's exactly the same as Robertie. 15 to 13, and then 7 to 5 to diversify your checkers, make more builders for inside points. Let's see what the table says. Oh, it's the right play by a huge number. Everything else is a huge blunder. You're losing 8.5% equity if you do anything else on the second roll, and then just gets worse from there. Almost 10%. If you do 15 to 14, 7 to 4, I don't know why you would ever do that. So these two checkers, safety. This one shifts. I mean, these are all terrible plays. I'm not even going to go into them. The first one is clearly the best one. I think everyone probably got this one. Just so you know, at the start of this, we were even in pip count, which I thought was interesting, that we were exactly even in pip count, 100 to 100. But this is an even position, even with white on the bar. Nevertheless, I think black's going to win this one if they can get just 1 or 2 lucky rolls. Not even. I don't even think they need too many lucky rolls, as long as white can stay on the bar. That's enough of that analysis. Please like and subscribe if you like these videos. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of future videos as I upload them. I'll be doing one a day to the end of the series. Thanks very much for following along.